Alright, what's going on everyone? It is Super here and I'm bringing you guys another MKX video, and today we're going to be looking at some changes for Ermac. You guys know I absolutely love Ermac, especially in Spectral, because I think he might have the sickest combos in Spectral. And by the way, look at the fucking Krimson Ermac costume. Let me know if you guys like the light version or the darker version. The light version is the alternate color, and you know, obviously the dark version is the default color. I don't know which one I like better. I think they're both sick as fuck. I think I might like the lighter one a little bit more, just because, you know, it brightens things up. You could actually see the red. The other one is just, I think it's a little bit too dark, you know what I mean? So I don't know, let me know what you guys think. But let's talk a little bit about Ermac here. He used to be my main character. I definitely still consider him one of my favorite characters in MKX. You know, he's one of my favorite characters of all time, actually. So I'm really looking forward to getting back into, you know, playing with this character now that there's some significant changes that I really like in Spectral and Mystic. So let me just say right off the bat that Master of Souls didn't get any changes at all, other than the you know, general changes to all variations. Master of Souls got nothing, so I'm not going to be talking about that. But I will be talking about these two variations. But first, let's start off with one of the biggest changes that was made to Ermac was actually they made his back one 9 frames. This used to be an 11 frame mid. It was very good. This move right here used to be 11 frames. It used to be a mid, and now it is a high, but it's not going to be used for, you know, pressure anymore. With this, you can still use it with this because, you know, this string is neutron block, so you know, you have a 6 frame down one. It could be a nice little frame trap if your opponent doesn't have a 6 frame down one. But what this is used for now is a very good anti-air. It actually makes it a better anti-air. You know, Ermac has really good anti-air options. He has this right here, and he has his down 4, which low profiles a lot of moves, and it's going to catch your opponent, you know, like this, for example. If your opponent tries to jump over, it's very good for anti-cross-ups. This one's good for anti-cross-ups. This one's good just to catch people trying to jump in on you, so keep that in mind. And now that this is 9 frames, it actually opens up, you know, a lot more combo possibilities for Ermac. So you guys know this string right here used to go into that. Now you could actually go into your back one, which the timing is a little bit tight, but you know, with enough practice, you will definitely be, you know, getting these strings down. Obviously, that's not the max damage. You know, 37% is still nothing to laugh at. You know, it's pretty good in Spectral. 37% I think is you know, good for 1 bar. But as you guys see, you know, even I'm struggling with this, and I've actually practiced you know, quite a bit with these changes to Ermac. You know, you will have to get used to the timing a little bit, but it is definitely worth it because it's going to net you a lot more damage than doing this, you know what I mean? So that's 34%, and you know, doing that was 37%, and it might not seem like a lot, especially in this variation, but when you go to like Mystic, where you get meterless damage, you get a lot of meterless damage with Mystic, which I'll try to show you guys, you know, once I move to that variation. But like I said, whenever you do this, for example, you catch your opponent with this, you could actually do this now. End it however you want. You could do it 3 times, which I'm not doing. Actually, I think in that one you cannot get it 3 times. I think I might be crazy there. They might fall too quickly for that. Or I just don't have the practice with this specific string I never use anymore. There you go. See, you could get that twice before you could only get it once, and I'm sure in Master of Souls and in Mystic you get a lot more. But Spectral is more about like the 50-50s and, you know, the really sick looking combos, the corner combos and the flight combos, you know, stuff like that. But the point is, you could actually get more combo possibilities now with this than you could before, which is very, very, very cool. It opens up more damage for Ermac, which, you know, he already had crazy damage, especially in Master of Souls, and the combos look, you know, a lot cooler because this, you know, this is a 6th string, man. All right, so now that that's out of the way, I think that's one of the biggest changes, right? Yeah, that's actually one of the biggest changes to Ermac. Another change is his forward 4-3 is actually safe on block now. This is completely safe. It's -6. Of course, you're not going to be able to press any buttons afterwards, but having a safe overhead option with a somewhat safe low option, this right here, it's really tricky to punish because, you know, you sort of expect this from Ermacs, right? The overhead low. So a lot of people actually get caught by this, you know, from what I've played. And even if they block it, you know, it's a tight window. It's pretty hard to block unless you're fucking Kung Lao and do the Cyclone. This is going to be very tough to block, or I should say very tricky to block for most of the cast. So now you have a somewhat safe / tricky to you know, punish. Have I been saying tricky to block? I mean, tricky to punish for the opponent. You have a tricky to punish low to low option, and now you have a completely safe overhead option that does what, 12%? Definitely pretty good. And you know, like I said, it's completely safe. So if you don't want to risk going for this, you know, you go for the safer option with the forward 4-3. So, you know, those are like the big significant changes to the you know, to all 3 variations. So now let's talk about character specific or variation specific. So first off, they changed the motion of the flight. So the flight used to be down, down, up, and it wasn't that it was really hard, especially, you know, from combos like this, these strings right here. Where it was hard was the forward 4 and back 3, because forward 4 and back 3 only have a couple of frames in which you could cancel it into a special move. And having the flight be a weird motion like down, down, up was, you know, it was just unnatural. It felt really weird, and, you know, that's why I didn't play too much with the variation. But now they actually switched the motion of the flight and levitate to down, up block, which on the ground is actually kind of tricky. But whenever you do it in a combo, you know, it's actually very easy to do. And as you guys saw, first try right there, 36%. That's where you're going to get your chunk of damage from, you know, doing your flight combos, because, let's see, it's kind of tricky to get on the ground, not going to lie. See, if you do it in the air, it's easy as hell. But if you are doing the levitate on the ground, I got it my first try when I did it, like, just in the beginning, right? And now I cannot get it now that I actually want to. All right, there you go. Wow, I don't know what you have to press first, right trigger, or I don't know, whatever. I can't fucking get it. Maybe you guys are experts at doing that, but, you know, usually I don't do the levitate on the ground. I usually do it like up here and stuff, you know, whenever I want to do that. At the start of the game, you know, jump back, do a levitate, and that's how I use it in this variation. And I really don't use it too much in the other variations, to be honest with you guys. So I don't really need to, you know, learn how to do the flight too much on the ground. But the point is, it's a lot easier to do in combos, and especially into forward 4 and back 3, which back 3 into the levitate, the only thing that you're going to be able to get as far as combos is the 3 in the teleport. So you have these. If you guys don't know about the variation, you have 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are your you know, buttons, and you could actually combo all of them by, you know, inputting them in a sequence. You know, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can combo all of them. And one thing about those strings in the air is actually they're unscaled. The scaling is, if they are, you know, if they do scale, it's definitely significantly lower than the other special moves or other, you know, normals in general, because in the corner, which I'll show you guys a little bit later, you can get some crazy damage, you know, meterless damage, or you can get some really good 1-bar damage with this overhead starter. But, you know, you definitely, in Spectral, the whole point is to, you know, get your opponent in these combos. So you could cancel your forward 1 or forward 2-1 into it, You cancel your back 1-2 into it. You cancel your forward 4 into it, and you could cancel your back 3. But like I mentioned, back 3, they get pushed off so far that you really don't have anything else except for the 3 in the air to connect it into a combo. As you guys see, that's the only thing. No matter how fast I do it, you know, I can't get any other move to connect other than that. So keep that in mind whenever you're trying to, you know, mix your opponent up with the overhead or the low. I did that backwards. The overhead or the low. There you go. But of course, forward 4, it is a little tricky to get used to because you do have to move forward a little bit. You don't have to move down unless you want to, but you have to move forward and able to, you know, catch your opponent because he does go back a little bit. Definitely not as much as, you know, the back 3. As you guys see, back 3, your opponent goes back a lot. So you actually have to be very quick moving forward if you do want to combo into it. But forward 4, you know, you have plenty of time. As you guys see, that's still comboed. And off your overhead, you get 36%. You spend the borrow meter, you go for 40%, which is, you know, definitely very nice. I think I messed up a little bit. I know you get a little bit more than 36% off the overhead. Shit. Actually, no, 36% is the most. But, you know, if you want to spend the borrow meter for that extra 4%, you can do it, especially in a game ending situation. But you definitely want to save your meter with this variation of Ermac to use it to pressure your opponent with his instant overhead, which is plus a billion on block. So I'll show you guys some meterless combos here. Am I forgetting anything? Oh, okay. So let me show you guys the meterless vortex that this variation of Ermac gets. Now that, you know, I can show you guys, since the motion is actually easier to do, you guys will be able to do this very easily. So Ermac's Air Soul Blast is actually, you know, really plus on hit. It doesn't say that it is. I think it only says that it's plus like 2 or 5, something like that. But it's definitely a lot more plus because it guarantees you either a back 3 or a forward 4. In back 3, I think it's 13 frames, and forward 4 is like 11 frames, something like that. So I'll show you guys. You pretty much start off with either an overhead or low. So I'm gonna start off with a low, then go overhead, then low, then overhead, stuff like that. So what you want to do is start doing that. And this, your opponent has to take. He can't armor through it. He has to actually take that and guess whether you're gonna go overhead or low, which is a very nice, you know, meterless vortex. And you don't have to move forward, or you don't have to move down. You could just do it immediately. And if your opponent does not guess right or is trying to meter burn, the meter burn is not gonna work because you're 2+. That a back 3 or a forward 4 is guaranteed. And now that the motion is, you know, easy to get, it's you know, it's definitely convenient for me at least to actually do this, because the back 3 was the one that was a bitch to me before. Forward 4 wasn't too hard, but the back 3 one was actually very hard to do before. And now, as you guys see, it's incredibly easy. So that's something that's really strong with this variation of Ermac. So definitely use that. Like I said, you know, in the moves list it says this, the Air Soul Blast is only like +5, something like that. Let's actually check, shall we? So it says it's only +3 hit advantage, but it definitely is a lot more than +3, because like I said, it guarantees you either a back 3 or a forward 4. Back 3 is 13 frames. Forward 4 is 12 frames. You know, so it guarantees you that. So it's, you know, either +15 plus something like that, because you could get away with doing this bullshit right here. It's actually very fucking strong, man. If you get caught by that, you will get pissed off at this variation of Ermac, because you do have to guess, and even if you guess right, you know, I could go into my levitate, and if I see that you blocked it, I could go into his EX air blast, which is plus, you know, a bunch on blocks. So I could go for another overhead or low, and you're gonna have to meter burn through that shit. So one thing that you can get is some really good meterless damage in the corner off his forward 2, 1, up 2, standing 4, levitate. You know, you go a little bit more than that. You get an extra hit in there. You could definitely play around with this. 45% is, I think 47 is the most that I've gotten. Getting a jab that many times is a little bit tight. This one is actually easy, but getting to 47 is a little bit tight. You have to catch him very high in the air, and your timing has to be spot on to do it. But you know, it's a pretty much guaranteed 45 with the change to the motion of the levitate. It's pretty fucking easy, guys, and these are like the sickest fucking combos ever. They look so cool. So, you know, keep that in mind. If you do actually land a forward 2, it's very hard to land a forward 2 in the first place. And, you know, if you do it on block, it is neutral, but you risk the, you know, your opponent armoring through the 1 and up 2. There's a gap in between the last hit right there. But if your opponent tries to do a meter burn reversal or something like that, and you could actually forward to it, you know, definitely do it, because you get 45 meterless. And the combos look sick as fuck. So something else that you can do, if you do get your opponent into this, you could actually meter burn the air soul blast, and then do 1 rep of your, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 into the air charge, and you're actually going to be able to catch them. 45% for a bar of meter is very good. And, you know, it's pretty easy to do. That was 43, but that was off the back 3. If you go for the overhead, you're actually going to get 45%. As you guys see, 45% for a bar of meter, and a completely safe and actually plus move, which is this right here. So, you know, if they block this, you go for that, and, you know, your opponent might fall for it. You could do an instant soul blast off your down 3, something like that. Opponent falls for that, and you know, it's just mix up city with this variation. You could do many things, and with the change to the levitate, as you guys see, I'm just fucking having fun just doing these combos right now. I'm just having a hard time talking, which I'll switch to Mystic right now, actually, before I just fucking keep doing these combos. A lot of fun. Go pick up Spectral Ermac, at least in training mode, guys, because he's a lot of fun. So with the change to his levitate being down up block, it's a lot easier to, you know, connect a lot of his moves. So definitely try out Spectral, guys. It's a lot of fun. So moving on now to Mystic. And nothing really changed with Mystic. They made the EX push -2 on block, if I'm not mistaken. So they made the EX push -6 on block. In the enhanced online beta, it was -1 on block. And, you know, a lot of people complain about that. I, as an Ermac player, loved that it was -1. But it does have a crazy hitbox. It does do 11%, and it takes away your opponent's meter. So it was a really good move. So it's still safe. It's still really safe, -6. And it does have armor, so you can wake up with it. Wait, does it still have armor? Let's see. Please tell me it still has armor. Which one is it? It's like telechoke, something like that. Okay, it's the EX version. Levitate. Okay, All right, so it still has armor. Good, good, very good. You know, so it's still a great move. Like, just that change to Mystic actually makes this variation very good because you actually have an armor reversal. 9 frames is really good. That's safe on block, and it's, you know, does 13% and it drains your opponent's meter. It drains a little bit of your opponent's meter, so that's very good, man. So I'm glad they didn't make that, you know, punishable on block or anything like that because people are complaining. So, you know, the whole point of Mystic is just to be a defensive wall. Sort of like Kenshi. In balance, I just think, you know, Mystic Ermac does more damage and, you know, has more tools than Kenshi does. You know, not really comparing them to, but I'm just using, you know, the two characters variations as an example to each other because that's what you want to do. You just want to be a defensive wall with this, and now you could actually get some juicy damage with this character. So let's see if I can get something here. Ah, fuck. What was it? By the way, if you guys want to know about a very good Ermac player, I think his name is Ever Media Big D, something like that. He's one of the best, if not the best, Ermac player, and this is where I learned the combos from, so definitely check him out. I'm trying to remember what they were. I think you do neutral jump punch after this. So the timing is, you know, definitely a lot more strict than just getting a simple down one, but the payoff is a lot more damage. It was something like that. But I'll leave the video linked in the description. You guys can go check it out. You know, I haven't really put the time into Mystic so much as, you know, definitely not as much as Spectral. But you guys get the point. You could actually get quite a lot more damage with this now. I believe off the overhead you could get 41%. Damn, this is actually pretty hard. The timing is... Alright, there you go. So that's 36. That is a simplified version of the combo. But like I said, the timing is, you know, very, very different than just getting a simple down one. So that's 37% off of the overhead. And, you know, I'm sure the low is like, what, 35, 36, something like that. A couple points shaved off. And one of the problems with Mystic before is you wouldn't get that much damage. And now with the change to back one being a high and it's 9 frames, you could actually implement this to make your combos a lot more damaging. You know, extended combos a lot more damaging. So I think it's definitely a good change to Ermac as a whole. Even though when I first heard it, I'm like, oh man, they're changing his back one into a high, because it was a very good mid, 11 frame mid, you know, and it was used to being a good pressure tool. But now it's more of an anti-air and a combo extender, which I'm completely fine about. Getting more damage is always good, right? And having a good anti-air. %, off that. I think the most that I was getting, you know, like I said, I'm not an expert as far as like combos with this character. I know how to play him very defensively. But as far as combos, like I was getting 32% before, you know, 32%, 31% off a bread and butter combo. So now that he could get 37% off the overhead, and of course with more practice, you know, we're all gonna get better at this with more practice. But, you know, the fact that you get 37 off of his overhead and, you know, just like around 35, 36% guaranteed is very good. So off his forward 2, you get 36 now. Nice. So this is me in like training mode, just fucking trying to figure stuff out with you guys as well. So you guys are getting a glimpse of me in training mode. This is what I do, man. I just like spending time in training mode. You know, figuring stuff out that I can't do. Let's add this 33. I'm sure you get a lot more than this because I've seen it in the fucking video. Like I said, it's gonna be linked in the description. I think he does a really good job explaining stuff. You know, one of the best Ermacs in the business. So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you learned something about Spectral, mostly because Spectral is the variation that I fucking love now. Like, it is so much fun. I liked it before. It was just the back 3 was a pain in the ass to get. So I couldn't do what I wanted to do, which was the meterless vortex in the corner. I couldn't combo off back 3, so that option was never there for your opponent. So all he had to do was block high versus me whenever I played Spectral. But now that I could get the back 3 and, you know, just do extended combos, it's a lot of fun, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video, mostly on Spectral. You guys definitely saw me, you know, saw that this is very hard, not very hard, but the timing is a lot more strict than your average Ermac combo. So now if you want the payoff as far as damage in this variation, you're gonna have to work on your execution, which is something that I need to do for sure, because as you guys see, I'm failing on a lot of these combos, and you know, that's fine. That's just gonna come with practice and putting time into the lab. So that's gonna be it, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's Ermac video. Let me know what you guys think of the changes in the comment section, and I will see you guys next time.